Welcome to Why America, a podcast in which we explore the process of becoming a United States citizen and why immigrants want to become legal Americans now more than ever. I'm Natalia Navarro. This time on Why America, we focus on politics and how our political climate has changed naturalization, maybe for good. Obligation-free, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. So help me God.
You have done all the United States of America has asked of you to become U.S. citizens. And so the government's motion to confer citizenship is hereby granted. And from this moment forward, you are all now citizens of the United States. Congratulations again.
Since Donald J. Trump announced his candidacy to run for president in the 2016 election, naturalization applications have increased by more than 27% to just under 100,000 applications per year. That's according to data from the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. Here in Arizona, naturalizations are up almost 34% since 2014. The data show that more people want to become citizens now than they did 4 years ago. But why would someone decide to go through what is often a lengthy, difficult, and expensive process to earn their United States citizenship? When I spoke with Eric Cohen, the executive director of the Immigrant Legal Resource Center, I asked him that very question.
So I know it seems obvious to some why someone might want to naturalize, but there are a myriad of reasons why people naturalize, and some of those are related to the political environment right now. But traditionally, people want to naturalize, A, because they can help their family members immigrate to the United States. B, it helps them travel on a U.S. passport. C, it's the last step in a long process of immigrating to the United States.
In the past, many immigrants were motivated to become citizens by generally positive feelings, an impulse to make the roots they have put down in the United States legal or to have the right to vote. But since the presidential campaigns for the 2016 election began, professionals who work with immigrants have noticed a shift in motivation to a very negative emotion, fear. New citizen Tomas Sepulveda, who was born just across the border in Nogales, Sonora, makes a distinction between his desire to become a citizen and the feelings that encouraged him to enter the process at this point in time.
So it's not really rooted, my application in my into citizenship in fear. It just got expedited because of the possibility of being threatened.
Anti-immigrant sentiments in politics do seem to have a connection with upticks in citizenship applications. Here's Cohen again.
The biggest spike was in the mid-90s, and that was a confluence of a lot of immigrant bashing. Some people might recollect Proposition 187 in California, which passed in 1994.
Prop 187, also known as the Save Our State or SOS initiative, sought to slow illegal immigration and decrease its cost to the state of California by denying state services such as health care and public education to undocumented immigrants.
And the governor of California, Pete Wilson, ran on an anti-immigrant platform and ended up winning, and Proposition 187 actually ended up passing in California. It was declared unconstitutional, and the Congress passed some very anti-immigrant pieces of legislation, 3 in particular, one of which was welfare reform, which really targeted and scapegoated immigrants. Those two political factors really caused a lot of people who were long-term eligible for naturalization to get off their horse and apply.
What changed since the 1990s and is new under the Trump administration is that fear of deportation and detention extends to the quote-unquote safest non-citizens in the U.S., permanent residents. Yvette Allais says she came to the United States with her family on a tourist visa in the winter of 1989 to escape drug-related violence in and around Mexico City. Allais and her mother gained legal status in the early 2000s through the Violence Against Women Act.
Under the Trump administration, everyone that is a non-citizen is at risk. at risk from deportation, risk from prosecution and incarceration. It's a really uncertain time that we're living in. I fear getting caught up in that, given my political views, given my nationalism. I am in fear of that. My family is here, and not being able to have access to them would be devastating. So I just want to be able to be protected.
Ale is now taking steps toward naturalization and is working as a statewide coordinator for an activist coalition in California.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States.
He asked why the United States should welcome immigrants from shithole countries.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
I'm putting the people on notice that are coming here from Syria as part of this mass migration, that if I win, they're going back. They're going back. I'm telling you, they're going back.
Build that wall. Build that wall. Build that wall. Build that wall. Build that wall.
Trump was saying the things that I have heard my whole life.
That's Yvette Ale again.
The things that he would say about Mexicans, being rapists or criticizing a judge of Mexican descent were not new or surprising. I think it shocked a lot of the liberal white people that wanted to think that we were a post-racial society. But the reality is for migrant people, and specifically for Mexican people, this narrative has been always accepted.
Immigration lawyer Doralina Luna draws a direct connection between the election of Donald Trump and the reasons her naturalization clients want to get their citizenship now.
A lot of the reasons that people are telling me they want to become citizens is pretty much fear. I think fear is a very strong motivator for people. They're scared of what's going to happen.
Luna says she used to get only a handful of naturalization cases each year, but in the last 2 years, she's been busy. And the new larger population of naturalization hopefuls is not limited to communities disparaged by Trump. This is Ken Murray from Paisley, Scotland. I was in the courtroom when he was naturalized on March 2nd of this year.
I was under no delusions formally. I knew exactly what a green card means and what my legal status here was. Anyway, you're here as a guest. I think I'd been a good guest up to that point, but I don't know at what point that I'll fall afoul of some cop, with a bad attitude. And, me with a bad attitude that day, not willing to do the yes sir, no sir, please don't tase me, officer. I run around with lots and lots of foreigners where I work, my social circle, and many of them had come to some of, more or less the same decision as I, just that they were a lot faster about it. I procrastinated a great deal, but there are others who right after, November 2016, they filled in the form that day. So, I'm one voice, but I know I represent a pretty good body of people.
I asked Eric Cohen if he thinks these ramped-up levels of naturalization will continue throughout the current administration.
I do think it will be higher during the rest of this administration. Do I think it will fall down a little bit? Yes. However, I don't think it will go to the pre-2018 levels for a while, because I think that people are anxious about what's happening. I feel that in order to continue to vitalize and revitalize our democracy, we need to make sure that everyone who's eligible to vote takes advantage of that option if they want to. And there's a huge pool of 9 million people who are lawful permanent residents who aren't now eligible to vote, but by becoming citizens they can be. And it just strengthens our democracy. So I'm a fan. I don't care who the president is. Even if the president's a race baiter or not, I still think people should continue to apply for naturalization at record numbers.
Last year, 703,000 people successfully earned their United States citizenship. The top 3 countries of birth for new citizens in 2017 was Mexico at 13.8%, India at 6.1%, and the Philippines at 5.5%. At several naturalization ceremonies in Tucson and Phoenix, Arizona, I asked brand new citizens why they decided to naturalize. A unifying thread in their answers was that, regardless of who sits in the Oval Office, they have high hopes for their lives as citizens.
Because we have a freedom here, and we have a freedom for the religion is the most important for me.
Yeah, it's always been my dream to be here, and it's a big opportunity, especially for my family.
Well, I love this country, and I wanted to be part of this country. I wanted to vote. I wanted to do something else. Well, that's why I wanted to become a citizen to vote. We're not here to do something bad things. We are looking for something better for our families.
Just the freedom and diversity and my children, just our faith. That's pretty much what kind of inspired me to become a U.S. citizen.
Tune in to Why America in podcast form and online to hear more about the naturalization process and hear the immigration stories of new and soon-to-be U.S. citizens, including Ken Murray and Yvette Ale. I'm Natalia Navarro. Thanks for listening.